And
Mhm.
most people haven't covered water because usually we think we have adequate water. Like to me, like I hunt around marshes and different things. I mean, I'm in some of the most wetland happy area in our state, but it's not quality water. So that's where my biologist expertise kind of came into it. Like I had to give quality water to them. And streams, creeks, marshes, that's not that. And it's not what deer prefer. So to me, what I started kind of doing is really diving in is, all right, what was the deer preference? What did they really want on the property per se to go to? And what it kind of comes down to is just some kind of in a way biology 101 of some of this stuff with whitetails, but they want warm water that's nutrient rich or mineral rich, I should say, not nutrient rich, mineral rich. And reason being is why they want it the same closer to their body temperature is when every time they drink out of a creek, stream, or even marsh, that's usually a spring fed system, it's super cold. I mean, as you know, being a trout guy, I mean, you go into these streams, it's frigid all year round, right?
Mhm.
Well, when they drink cold water, it shocks their system. So it's when it's a game of survival and they drink this cold water and shocking their biological systems, that's not survival anymore. So they'd rather go drink out of warmer water sources that don't shock their system. And that's why over like in Europe, you won't see anything refrigerated, right? Drink wise, they know that shocks our system. It's not like we're the kind of people, humans as a culture, right? We want that ice cold beer at the end of the day or ice cold drink and not realizing, yeah, that shocks our system every time, but tastes great. But
Mhm.
with the deer, it's a game of survival. So they want that. They want warmer water. And that's why these ponds, tubs, you name it, they'll prefer. But then on the other side of it, when you have these natural ponds or line ponds, or you're putting in like some of these like earth ponds, things that way in, what you're doing is actually allowing runoff to go into these and bringing in natural minerals. So deer are also, just like any cattle or livestock would be out there, they're looking for that mineral that they're depleted in. So when you have mineral enriched water, that's when you hear the thing like deer like muddy water. Well, it's not that they like crappy water. They like good water, but they want minerals in that water, phosphorus, calcium, things like that, where they can help anther growth, health in general. So as I started putting these water systems in properties, what I found is I've actually been able to house deer closer to that water, especially in the summer and early fall. And even in the rut, it's become like I call it the cheat code because it sounds crazy, but I've been able to pattern bucks to ponds in the rut. They're not eating during the rut. That's why they lose on average 28% of their body weight. They have to drink. It's just like if you or I were out in the Sahara Desert or the Gobi Desert, we can't go 3 days without water. We're dead. Same with the deer. Deer has to drink. And so just using that philosophy, I'm putting these in different areas on my properties and literally sucking bucks into it, especially during a rut when they're just chasing and need to drink. And I had one story of a buck that literally every single day of the rut, he came into a pond at 9:30, clockwork. And so one morning I kind of got the right wind and all that, went in knowing like, okay, it's going to be some time, brought coffee out there. And here he came out of a 20-acre cattail marsh, walked up 75 yards to a line pond I have, maybe 100 yards to drink. And I shot that deer because he literally had to go get his drink of water after his morning, doe run.
Mhm.
So to me, it's just when I started seeing that power of it and hearing people's success stories of like, holy crap, yeah, you're right. This pulled deer out of that creek system or that river or that marsh. And then they started shooting deer because of it. I started realizing how high of a priority that was versus sometimes even doing food plots. Food plot, there's food everywhere, but water, there's not good water everywhere.